Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dolbeck. Today I'm gonna speak about the five biggest nerf in your world. I'm gonna speak about utter nerf. I'm probably gonna forget some because they did so many stuff. Like if I'm missing something and you guys think there's some big nerf that I forget to speak about, just put it into the comment section. I want to hear about it. The nostalgia is always good, and there's something we liked, something we didn't, and the game evolved so much that yeah, it's kind of fun to speak about that. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. At the start of the game, there was a dodge cancel when you was changing weapon while dodging, it was going a bit more far, like more like you keep your speed while dodging, and if you was not, it was slowing you down. They took that off to put you always dodge at the same speed, and it don't stop you. It was mostly in light armor. But yeah, it's not a big nerf. I liked it because it was giving like how to say a skill gap. Like people who had skill was doing it, and people who had no skill in the game was just not doing it. I like that type of stuff, but at the same time, it's more like a bug. And for me, it was like slide cancel in Call of Duty. You probably remember Warzone 2019, the slide cancel. It was a big part of the game, and I liked it. But every good thing have a hand, and I feel like it did not break the game to take that off. It's perfect like that. And then the second nerf that happened at the start, the first nerf of the ice spike. You guys probably remember at the start of the game, people was playing AV armor with great axe and ice spike. There was some mage too with fire staff and ice gauntlet, but the main meta with the ice spike was just AV armor, ice spike, and it was almost the same DPS as a light, and it was just hitting way too hard. Even in war, people was using that build. It's just like it was a fat nonsense how hard it was hitting. Seriously, that shit was insane, and it had to be nerfed. So this one got nerfed in the first probably year, maybe first 6 to 8 months. And then it take a while before they nerfed the spike again recently, like a couple months ago. And the second nerf on the ice spike, maybe it was not needed. I feel like now it's just a bad ability and it's not really fun to use it anymore. But yeah, like they nerfed the high spike really hard, and that's one of the biggest nerf of the game, 100%. On the healing, the instant light embrace. Remember, light embrace is that heal that gives you haste, and when you was casting it, it was instant, but now it take a moment to cast it. So it's a big nerf when you think about it. Pretty hard to heal now since you changed it. If you get stagger when you cast it, it's gonna stop and you're gonna have to do it again. And the people have some stagger and stun luck build that just prevent you from casting it. They're just gonna do it till you die, or the people you try to heal die. And yeah, so the instant light embrace probably one of the big nerf out there. It changed the heal, like it reversed it. Now we don't even use that ability anymore. Now it's divine embrace instead. So yeah. The third big nerf that I would say would be the stamina in light armor. In the past when you was dodging, the stamina was just coming back straight up. It's an any build, every low like light, medium, and heavy. But as a light armor, it's just gonna kill you. I remember like being on the objective with like 4 or 5 hammer people. They was just trying to hammer me, and I was just dodging and running around them. Like for me, the hammer at that moment was just too slow to be a good weapon in my head. It's always been good in war, but like into small scale PvP, a hammer trying to hit a mage was just not possible. So yeah, then they nerfed that, and at that point it was pretty hard to do the same thing again. And then they nerfed the stamina one more time, but on the Dex player. You know, on the recent update, the decks don't have one more dodge, you know, in medium armor. They had like four dodge. It was insane. And in light armor, there was not even needed RT, the RT perk on the ring. Now everyone need it. So yeah, it's a big nerf on the stamina. They nerfed the stamina to the ground. And I think it's the nerf that I hate the most because movement into video game is what I like the most, and having less movement pissed me off. But you know, it's fine. So the nerf number four, I would say that it's the musket. You know, the musket in the past that was just like insanely strong, and it's still strong, but now that they cannot aim and have 100% accuracy, it's a bit better. Like they don't you don't see them in war like just hitting every shot on you across the map as soon as you get out of the war camp. The shit was fucking insane. It was impossible to just against a good musket team. There was almost nothing to do. Like they was carrying war straight up. It was not even like a bruiser game anymore or anything. The musket was just unreal strong and like as a mage, I always played the 150 con at the start, and at some point I had to put 200 con because the musket was just treat at me. It's just unreal, yeah. So this is one of the big nerf. Like there's like that thing in the middle of the screen. If you move and shoot at the same time, you're gonna have less accuracy, shit like that. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that they did that because. Yeah, and the musket, the rock in OPR, you know, people was climbing on the rock and staying on top of it. Man, this shit was like, I'm happy with the musket nerf, but you know, having some rock to climb on and outplay people off it, I think it's a good thing. But maybe they only had to take off the top of the rock, you know, the big one that everyone was standing at it, and what happened with that is you see OPR is like there's a high ground and a lower ground in that map, and the high ground had the rock too. So the people on the lower ground, even if they had some musket, they had a disadvantage because of the high ground was on the one side. So it just make no sense. So after that, the other biggest nerf, the number five on my list would be the shrinking eel. During the moment, shrinking eel had almost no cooldown, so everyone was just they just put it in all the build at the start of that update. They just like spam the shrinking eel a lot, and there was the Ankh. It's like the artifact, and they nerfed the artifact too. So shrinking eel is still good, it's still usable, but it's not what it was, and it had to be done, I guess. This one had to be done. But now that we speak about the top five of the biggest nerf, I'm gonna just speak about some other nerf that is kind of big when you think about it, and yeah, that make people that pissed off a lot of people. They had to change their build and everything. So I'm gonna start with the 300 strength grit nerf. Remember when you had 300 strength, you had some grit that like you cannot get stagger. So they took it off to put it on the 300 con. I don't know if it's a good thing, seriously. I don't think it's a good thing, but at the same time, you know, the stagger build and shit, it's not that bad that it should exist, and people just put 300 con like the bruiser, like I think maybe it advantaged too much the AV armor people. Now they have a lot of armor and they have like some artifact that boost the armor, like the void plate, and then they put 300 con. Like, dude, if they have a healer, it's just way too much. Like, you need the spam ability on them during fucking 5 minutes to kill them, or like doing grab and detonate all together. It just make no sense. But this 300 grit, I feel like it's maybe a buff for heavy armor and a nerf for light armor and medium. Uh, Mostly in PvE, when you think about it, into the mutation, there's like the fire mutation that just do a lot of explosion, and you're there tanking, and you only had to put the grit on and keep attacking when there was some fire explosion. But now, man, you just fucking you're just flying around if you don't dodge at the good time, and sometimes there's like five enemy exploding back to back, so it just make no sense. Seriously, yeah, the grit nerf is big in PvE, I feel like. The Gravwell nerf. Remember the Gravwell was hitting hard, like the weapon perk on it, it was like 100% burst from you. Now it's like 50% or something. Yeah. It's a big nerf. And the Gravwell, it's a huge ability. Everyone use it. It was everywhere, so I'm fine with this one. Like having a one ability like that is too OP is not a good thing. The Hatchet Dead Defy nerf. Remember with the Hatchet you had immunity after you get close to death during like 5 seconds or something. It was just way too much. Even in dungeon, people was using the Hatchet as secondary. Like everyone had the Hatchet as secondary just because of that. Like it was just making no sense. It was good. It was very good and satisfying. It was making the dungeon easy, 100%. I approve it. And the DPS on the hatchet, they nerfed it a bit, but it was great. But yeah, that did defy just changed everything. Even in PvP, people was using it a lot. Like the Schizo, the Assassin's build, it was going backline, man. And if they had the dead defy, it was giving them time to run away. It was just way too much. So the flamethrower nerf. Some people say it's not nerf enough, but in the past, if you remember, the flamethrower was doing backstab DPS, and that shit was hitting for real, man. Like fucking backstab DPS. So it was hitting hard. So that nerf on the flamethrower was indeed. People was even using it in PvE, and yeah, we needed it. So the rapier nerf, there was the riposte and the evade that got nerfed. And the riposte, remember when you was hitting a riposte, it was just stunning everyone around. Now it's only stunning the people you are looking at. And it's not lasting. It was giving you immunity during like 1 or 2 seconds. Now it's just during the moment of the riposte, and it's just one hit. The other hit that gonna hit you, you're not gonna have the immunity after it. So the repose got a hard nerf. It's sad but good at the same time because the healer and shit, like even the Dex was using it. I used it a lot myself. Seriously, yeah, sorry I'm sick a bit. You're gonna hear my nose, I'm like stuck. So yeah, the riposte nerf, huge nerf. I remember I was even doing it with the great sword and rapier. This shit was insane. The evade too on the rapier. The evade, when you was using evade, it was giving you stamina instantly and haste during a short moment, like a couple seconds. They took off the haste and the stamina gain, and now you get it only when you evade through an enemy attack. So this is a fat nerf. Just being able to evade, even if it's not through an attack, and gain haste and stamina, it's a big thing. You know how stamina is a big thing on that game. So yeah, it was a really big nerf. So the Great Sword nerf, remember the launch from the Great Sword, it was sending you to moon to hit your enemy. So they nerfed that, and there was the Skyward Slash too. Remember the Skyward Slash, the last hit was just hitting like probably 5 to 6 meter, like longer than your Great Sword. So it was It was amazing. I loved it, but it was strong. Maybe too strong. It was like flipping the whole PvP. For some people, it was not fun. Like the healer, imagine having like just a bunch of great sword always there on your ass. Yeah, that's fucking hard. But I liked it. It was fun while it lasted. Every good thing have to end sometime. And yeah. And at last, the shrinking fortification nerf and the paladin nerf. Shrinking fort, it did not lasted long. When it came out, it was really strong during a couple of weeks and then they nerfed it straight up. But the paladin nerf lasted a while at the start of the game, maybe 5 to 6 months. There was paladin everywhere, like hammer with life staff, great axe life staff. There was a lot of it, but they nerfed it to the ground, and now nobody uses it anymore. Now there's the flail that you can use like that, but it's not effective like the hammer was at that moment. So yeah, this is it for the biggest nerf in the game. I feel like, oh, there's one more thing that I need to speak about. The door they had in the Baron. This is one of the biggest nerfs for the Dex people in OPR. Being able to steal the Baron from distance. I was even doing it with Fireball from really far across the map. Yeah, now it's not possible anymore. They added a door in the Baron. I don't think it's a good thing. I feel like the OPR map was perfect like that, and they only had to create more OPR map, but instead they just changed the thing around to make PvE easier, a lot of random shit. Man, come on. So yeah, this is it for the nerf video. The top 5 is at the start, and after that it's a bunch of random perk. But if I missed something, speak about it into the chat below, like the comment. I want to hear about it. There's probably some things that I forget. They just keep nerfing everything. They change everything around. So thanks guys for watching. Remember to sub to my channel and like this video. Peace out.